This week on Wine Women Life.
Look, I have years and years of trauma, childhood trauma, relationship trauma, experiences with even racism, parenting, all that. It's never okay to dump your trauma, baggage, and damage on to your new mate.
Hi, everybody. Welcome to another episode of Wine, Women, and Life. Today, we have two special co-hosts. We have Jaleesa's back again, and we have Courtney.
What's up,
So, this is
Hello,
a
ladies.
continuation for anybody that did not catch the last episode of our podcast, Angry Man Syndrome. Please watch that one before you get into this one so that you can understand, okay? So, of course, we were three women discussing our point of views on why it was important.
Why do y'all think men are so angry these days with us?
I think it started from the home growing. I think it started with your parents first. I think it started with your mother first. Your mother not giving you the love of a man, the love and the condition that he needs to be a man. It starts with her. And if she's not giving him the affection, the love, the care, they're gonna be who they are.
It could be the father too. Like if the father isn't, if the father is showing the son, abusiveness towards his mother, no emotion towards his mother, no affection, then in return, a lot of people do what we seen when we grew up. It's hard to find that affection when you weren't shown that.
So we had to bring a male voice into the conversation.
Yeah, for sure. We're so excited to have you, Courtney. Thank you for coming on.
What's up,
Thank you for having me.
What's up?
Thank you for having me. I've been waiting on this one. God, where do I begin? The point that Jaleesa made about it starts in the home, I agree with that 100%. As far as your upbringing. Every angry black man comes from a black woman. That's where it starts. So anytime you're brought up in a single parent home or a home where you have both parents, everything you learn from them, that's what you take into your future. Period. So if you learn negative traits from a single father, you learn negative traits from a single mother, or you learn negative traits from a poor or mishandled marriage, that's what you're taking into your future. And I noticed in the topic we talked about therapy. Without therapy, you can't even get ahead from the jump. So
That's true. But one thing I noticed is that a lot of men don't want to go to therapy. Why is that?
it's shunned in the black community, but if you look at how people are more open and prone to discuss their business with friends and family and gossip and do all this other mess, I don't see any reason why you can't go to a professional so that you can clear up any past trauma. Just talking to your cousin or your best friend, that won't you can't get anything accomplished with that. That's just it's just gossip at this point. So seeking out a professional, it's no different than black men have a habit of not going to a doctor, not seeing a doctor on a regular basis. Trying to get us in the habit of getting our prostate checked and just basic upkeep, just like women. Women go have regular checkups. I think that people need to have regular mental health checkups.
So true. You're
not going to go to Keisha for your annual, right? You're going to go to an actual physician. So just like with mental health, you need to seek a profession. I want the audience to fully understand your definition of angry man syndrome.
Oh, let's
And also, I want to make sure I understand what the definition is before we get into it.
Okay.
Our podcast was labeled Angry Man Syndrome. That was just us kind of trying to push everything into a smaller version of what we were going to discuss. We talked about receiving angriness. We talked about receiving different emotions from men that we didn't cause. We come into a relationship and we're met with distrust. We're met with dishonesty. We're met with secretiveness. Men not being vulnerable. Men sometimes being hateful or playing tit for tat or trying to get us first before we get them. So we kind of just put it all together into an angry man syndrome.
Yep. That's it.
If I can just try to put it all together, like it's not an actual syndrome. It's just something that we kind of just smushed.
Right.
Okay.
Right.
Because we want to get an understanding.
Okay.
We love the men that we've, placed in our lives. And a lot of times we don't understand why we're met with so many different things that we didn't do. You know what I'm saying? I don't feel like you should distrust me when you just met me. So unless I take that distrust from you, you should trust me. If we've reached a level of our relationship where I feel like we're loved, we're totally in love and the trust is there should be some vulnerability. A lot of men don't show that vulnerability. And it's not due to the current relationship. Most of the time it's due to something that had happened to them in their past. Before I even met whoever it was.
So emotions, a little quick recap. Emotions, distrust, dishonesty, secret, trauma, past trauma. Would that be one?
Yeah.
No, I wouldn't put that into angry man syndrome. Like if you watch the other video, our previous podcast, we played a clip. And in the clip, the guy was just going off like about women. Yeah. And he was like, you don't, give this woman the moon or whatever. You do that for yourself. Like he was just adamant. Apparently he had been in a relationship where this girl, whatever she did to him, he was just over women, period. So we went and watched the video and there were so many comments under this video, guy after guy after guy after guy, different races, different colors, whatever. And they were saying the same thing, like basically forget women. These were angry men.
Yeah.
So basically, she just don't want past hurt into new future. Nobody want past hurt.
Which is what the guy who went off his rocker displayed.
Yes.
He displayed hurt. He displayed pain from a previous relationship. So
and the people in the comments underneath that were displaying the same thing. Like, yeah, bro, don't trust that girl. And one guy was like, I went to Berlin, Detroit, New York for this girl, and she left me to get back with her ex, and then she left the ex when they on their wedding day. And another guy was like, yeah, you just do that for yourself. Women aren't shit. Like comments was just saying different things, but they both, all of them was like, yeah, just forget the women altogether.
So what bothered you the most? Was it the comments of the guys agreeing with him, or was it the man lashing out because of his pain?
The comments with the agreements. I like everybody does, like it deserves to have their voice being heard. He was angry, and we don't know what he was angry for. Anger can be justified. You know what I'm saying? If that's something that you feel within yourself, no one can take that from you. But the comments were these different guys were just like, yeah, forget women. That's
just on bandwagon.
Because all of us aren't the same. All women are not the same.
Which should
the same
we
woman that
focus
placed
more
that didn't hurt there or whatever that's there, we didn't do it. So why put that into these women that you guys meet? Why make them hurt or why make them suffer for the past flaws of whatever caused the trauma in your life?
Mm-hmm.
Well, why do we choose mates who are emotionally damaged? Why are we
Sometimes we
choosing
don't
mates?
know.
Why are we choosing mates who are completely destroyed from previous relationships? Because
Sometimes we don't know.
Well, then that's another fault on our own. We have to vet people before we involve ourselves with them. You know what I mean? I mean, it's like it's almost like a job application.
People can put on a
Sorry.
mask and pretend that they're somebody that they're not. It happens plenty of times.
Okay.
But you know what, lady?
Well,
you know what I think? And this is just from coaching. People do put on masks. Uh-oh.
Sorry. What was that?
A motorcycle passed by the front door, and I'm right by the front door, so.
I forgot.
I thought the toilet was flushing.
Like, what the heck?
No, my bad. It's my stomach, y'all.
Oh my goodness. But not like, this is what I believe from coaching, that if a person is fully healed in every way, you can see through people.
If they're fully healed.
If they're fully healed.
So
No,
if they're not healed, they have the ability.
That's
They're
what
more
I
likely
if the other person is fully healed. Because I'm like, what do you mean? If you're fully healed, you have the ability to trick people?
No, like me, if I
saying
could
fully healed people are more transparent.
Yes,
with
I do believe
what
that.
they got going on.
I believe that.
But even if there's a mask, you still have a responsibility to vet someone, to essentially run a background check. I mean, if you apply for a job, you're going to put whatever you want to put on the application.
Mm-hmm.
You can read that application and ask questions all you want until you do a background check. That's
I agree
a
to
deeper
disagree.
state.
I agree to disagree.
Really?
Yes, ma'am.
I mean,
Me too. I'm with Ariel. You can't.
But what does it cost?
I be doing back.
I disagree because just like a background check, honey, everything look good on paper, but that's not a real person. Like I can I can go on someone's Facebook, look at all their pictures, look at comments, and I'll find certain things out, right? But I don't know this person's past. I don't know trauma. I don't know that this is a trigger for them. I don't know these things until I actually get into a relationship and time goes by. You can only read so much on paper, just like a job interview. They don't know me. They don't know that I could be a compulsive liar. They don't know that I could have 10 kids out here because it's not written on paper. They wouldn't know until I started working there for like 2 years. And they're like, dang, did y'all know this girl had 10 kids? You wouldn't find out until you get to know me, right?
What comes after an application? That's basically the initial meeting.
The job interview. And I can lie through the whole thing.
No interview like
and women lie through the whole relationship. Like they lie to get to you. A job interview. We can lie through all of that.
It's the application. It's the job interview. It's the background check. It's the drug test. And then it's the 90-day probation. For you to find a red flag.
Okay, right. In 90 days.
It can be 90-day probation. 90-day probation, and you still not see that person. Like, you still don't see that person. That person can put on, like, this person can sit here and make up the recipe and put everything in the recipe everything ingredient that goes into the recipe and still miss something because you just have not seen. You just don't see it. It could be a pinch of salt that you miss. You miss something in every recipe. And somebody always add a new ingredients to a recipe. It's a recipe. So just because you sit here and something, it's an application, 90-day probation. I can know a person for 90 days and he can still be the greatest person I met and still be an ass later down the line. He can be a jerk later down the line.
He can still be a serial killer. He can still have multiple kids and be lying for 90 days. Yeah. And we wouldn't know.
I think y'all, it's sounding to me like y'all, I see a mixture of personality traits and then a mixture of flat out lying. Because you can meet somebody. You can meet somebody who's a completely honest person, a completely open book and tell you everything, and then you still fall for them and then get mad at the truth. Or you can meet somebody who's pretending to be a perfectly sane person, and later on, it's a complete psycho. At the end of the day, you still have to be held accountable to make your own decisions and whether or not you're going to stay with somebody and deal with the issues and deal with the trauma.
That's true.
At any point as an adult, at any red flag, at any lie, at any little mishap, you have the right and the power to walk away and never return. But you also make the decision to stay and deal with it. So if you're going to lay in the bed, you made it, lay in it. Deal with it through all this, all the ups and downs. You could have walked away a long time ago. Anybody can walk away from a situation, but you chose to stay in it. You chose to ignore the red flag. So now deal with it. People meet
You don't have to
broken
deal
people.
with it. You deal with it as long as you think that you need to deal with it.
And
We all
we
have
always
expiration dates.
we always make excuses of why we can't leave or why we can't walk away or what we're going to keep working out or we're going to keep doing this. If it's not working, it's not working. Walk the hell away. It's just
so when
that
they
simple.
walk away and somebody come back and chase them and can't keep them, you know what I'm saying? You can walk away, but the person always manipulates to come back. It's always a person that can manipulate and come back. You can walk away from a lot of things.
People don't
Just
seem to have that.
That's the problem. You need to run. That's you need to run. Walking, they can still catch you, girl. You need to run.
Exactly, like they catch you in the back.
People know how to avoid traffic cops when they have warrants. They know how to avoid bill collectors calling their phone. They know how to hide from begging in-laws or begging ass family members. You know how to hide from all this stuff. You know how to avoid all these situations. But you don't know how to stop talking to somebody who may be potentially toxic or who may ruin your life or who may make you upset. See, we are.
I think
all
that's
these
easier said than done. Because if you actually love somebody, it's not easy to walk away. It's not. It's
well,
not.
but we don't want to understand the process it takes to fall in love. And then half the time we think we're in love. It ain't really love. We just so used to the toxicity. We so used to the bull that almost becomes a drug. Remember, we explained this offline before. Just like with crack, just like with any drug, we addicted to the high, but we don't like everything associated with it, everything else that's associated with it. The chase, the discomfort afterward, the part where it's actually ruining our lives and not being instrumental for us. But the minute we get that high, we're okay. Right at that minute we got the high, but we know that it's not good for us. So you gotta overcome the high.
I agree, disagree once again.
What do you disagree with? The fact that it's a high or that it's bad for you? Which
I
one
agree
do you
it's a
disagree
high.
with?
I agree it's always a high because you can't tell me that just because I went on vacation with somebody and I had like a wonderful vacation and then we come back and we like ate each other's heads again and I'm like, oh, but the vacation was so great. I can't live off of that. But then again, I mean, I'm agreeing to disagree because I think it depends on the person. Some people do naturally like that high and they live off of the high of going aside each other's head or the arguments or whatever. Some people are more on the opposite side where they don't like the feeling of the arguments and they don't like the feeling of feeling low. Like it's not a drug for them. It's hurting.
Well, we won't ever avoid arguments and disagreements and all that stuff. But what I mean by the high is when you know for a fact you're in a dead end relationship, when you know for a fact that you're in a situation that you won't be able to fix, there won't be a good outcome. But yet we love the way this person holds us. We love the way this person, when we're in a good space, talks to us. We love to go out and kick it and have fun with this person. But then the minute that fun is over, that high is done, now it's back to the real world. Now it's back to reality. And the reality is that it won't last past the high. So at the end of the day, we're getting caught up in the high. The person makes us feel wonderful when we're together, but there's no relationship skills. There's no interpersonal skills. We don't have anything else outside of the high we get from the sex or from that instant moment that we together. It's like,
Okay, so
once again,
in regards
once
to
again,
that,
let's go back to the job thing. We get a paycheck. That's the high, but we hate going to work every damn day. But we hate our job. We hate our boss. We hate what we do for a living, but we need that check. The check is the high. You can change your outcome. You can go get another skill. You can go do something else. You can empower yourself and make yourself better to pursue the next career.
okay. So in regards to that, you dealt with it. You stayed in the situation until however long, and during that situation, so much has transpired that, of course, both of y'all leaving out of it hurt, right? Both of y'all leaving out of it with pain, scars eternally. If we can retract to the beginning of what we were talking about with those guys in that video, is it okay to put it on the next person? Is it okay to display that, what you've had from the past relationship?
No. It's never okay to dump your traumas, baggage, and damage onto your new mate.
Is it fair if I'm coming into a relationship or you're coming into a relationship with a totally new person, but you have all this hurt underneath, all this trauma underneath caused by other things that have transpired in your life? Is it fair that because we've experienced this trauma and this hurt, that our new relationships, they become, what's the word I'm looking for? They become the output post. That's where we put it at. Is that fair? Like, is it fair to come into a relationship not trusting? Is it fair to come into a relationship like, okay, well, she lying about everything? Is it fair to come into a relationship just disbelieving? Or is it fair? You know what I'm saying? Are those things fair? Because that's what those guys were saying in that video. Basically, that every woman was saying.
What's the term that people use when they break up with someone and immediately get with somebody else?
A rebound.
A rebound. So no, it is not fair for anyone to get a rebound after a breakup or after a divorce. Clearly, you need time to heal. You are the bad guy if you get with somebody immediately after a bad breakup or after a divorce, because you coming in being manipulative. Even if you're being honest, and you're saying, "Hey, look, I just got a bad breakup. I'm trying to free myself. I'm trying to do something new. I'm trying to do something different." You still have all those feelings harbored, all those. You still attached to the previous person. You can be imprinted on someone.
Yeah.
Like in my situation, I was imprinted 10 years on someone. Got out of a situation and went immediately into something else, hoping that I can use this new situation to help me get over the last one. And it just doesn't work that way. And in the end, you'll end up being more damaged from the new one than you was the old one because you never healed. So in my pain, now I'm creating pain in somebody else. So my recommendation, somebody should have been on my tail giving me the same recommendation, is to take some time for yourself, get some therapy, and heal. Sometimes being alone after a bad situation or a bad relationship, being alone can help you, readjust to the world, restart, to detach from the old person.
So that you can go into the new relationship new.
I'm sorry?
So that you can go into the new relationship new.
Refresh. It's like having new battles. Because if I jump into something, even 3 months after a past relationship, I'm going right into this relationship, this new relationship, with all the pain and all the trauma from what this person put me through. Now I still got my wall up, and I'm still coming at the new girl with the same stuff I did with the old. It's like I'm already expecting the negativity with the new person, and it ain't fair to the new person. So
Angry man syndrome.
I mean, that's just like I like to title it "angry person syndrome" because if I get with somebody new, and it may be 6 months that she got out of a relationship, and everything that she thought she was doing well with that person may not sit well with me. All the little tricks and uh, little gift ideas, or the way you hold somebody, the way you kiss somebody, that may work for that man, but it ain't gonna work for me. I'm a whole clean slate. You need to try something different. And it's the same with men going into relationships with new women. Everything I did for her, I can't do for you. All the little stuff, little quirky stuff that she likes, you may not like. So I have to come in with a fresh mind, heal from all my trauma, spend some time alone to reevaluate myself, to make myself a better person, and then go in with a fresh, clean slate with somebody new. That's just how it's got to be. But we get greedy, we get selfish, we lack accountability,
We get lonely.
we come in disrespectful. But still, loneliness should not be an ingredient for, being disrespectful, being hurtful.
What would you
That's
say
how
to
it is.
right? What would you say to men who don't want to go to therapy? Because there are a lot of men out here who they feel like they're less of a man if they go to therapy. What encouraging words can you give to these types of men?
I think if men want to improve their overall mental health, not just for somebody else, but even for you to get ahead and become a better version of yourself, you can't do it alone. You can't do it by hopping into some relationship just because a woman can deal with you or put up with your ways. It won't help. You have to seek professional help. You have to go to somebody who's licensed, you know, to help you cope, to help you get through it. You can't just look. I have years and years of trauma, childhood trauma, relationship trauma, experiences with even racism, uh, parenting, all that. And talking to my friend or talking to, even a coworker or anything like that, that won't help. You have to seek professional help. That'll help us get over the hump. I can't be a better man for you if I haven't even created an outlet to become better for myself. So
that and that equates with angry man syndrome also, right? Like we just need to be, we can put into angry person syndrome, like you said. We just need to be healed so that we don't bring that angriness, that bitterness, that hurt into relationships.
I mean, what does a toxic person plus a toxic person equal? Now we got some toxic kids. now we got toxic kids and two toxic parents who, and there's no end to it. Now we keep talking about these generational curses, and it's like a never-ending thing with our lives. And the minute we stop, you know what I recommend? I also recommend, if you're gonna be a couple, you're gonna be with me, let's go to therapy together. I don't see nothing wrong with having a session or two. Most therapy is, and people might shy away from therapy because they think it's expensive too. That's another thing.
They think it's
people,
what?
They think it's expensive.
Oh, expensive, yeah.
And it's really not. Most insurances, most of your basic work insurance is accepted. They think it's expensive. Well, I'm not going to pay all that money to go see somebody. I can just go talk to Big Mama. And here Big Mama is with her. Big Mama been divorced 3 times. So single people.
I feel like it's some
not,
things that you can talk to about your friends, and some things that if it's deep, like where you know this pain is not going away, no matter who I talk to, it's not ending, it's not being fixed. That's when you need to see professional help, because some things are just like, I just need somebody to talk to, or I just need to get off my chest. We do have certain family members and we do have certain friends or people close to us that we can, you know, talk to. And in regards, that person will give us a positive outlet, and they can be a good influence in whatever decision we're trying to make, or whatever we have on our hearts or our minds at the time.
So about that, talking to family members and friends and all that, if we have a history of failed relationships, maybe the best friend and big mama ain't helping much.
But who doesn't have a failed relationship? Because even the best relationships go through things. Am I not correct?
But that doesn't mean it's a failed relationship, though.
Well, that's what I'm saying. But even the best relationships can go through things. Like Big Mama and Big Daddy could have been married for 40 years, but Big Daddy got 2 outside kids. Let's discuss it. So I think it depends on the person that you talk to, because everybody you can't vent to. It's certain things like I can literally call and talk to my sister about that I know I can't call my cousin and talk to. You know what I'm saying? I know if I call my cousin, I'm going to get something negative, or the experiences that she's had, I can't talk to her. Like, it's just there. You know what I'm saying? But my sister, by her being who she is, wiser and older and more mature, and the different type of relationships she's had, I know who to go to get the outcome that I need at that time. Because even our therapist that we share together, Christina, you know, he has told us that it's okay to vent, but you have to be careful who you're talking to. Because we all have to have an output. We all have to have an outlet, because if we keep all of that in here, you will mentally blow. And sometimes it's just small things that I pick up the phone and I'm telling my sister, like, I just need to vent for this 10 minutes. And she's like, what's up? It's nothing deep that I got to go to my therapist. Something, you know, the deep stuff, like I said, trauma and all that, I got to holler at somebody that's more professional. Yeah.
Now, real quick, here's the difference between the average woman, and I don't want to sound chauvinistic, and here's the difference between the average woman going to vent the average woman going to vent to their best friend, or even venting to their man. Most men stop venting to their women because people can take your emotional trauma, or even the little stuff that you vent to your woman, and they can use that and throw it back at you.
Men do the same thing. Men do the same thing. If a woman can vent to a man about certain things, emotional trauma and past experiences she had, they will and can do the same thing. Turn it back to you. I've had that before. I would never.
That's the reason.
Yeah, and I would never do that. That's why you got to know who you're talking to. Like, if I'm mad at you, I would never bring up that as anger, as a tool. The same way I don't want you to do me like that.
You'd be surprised how many people do that. You'd be surprised.
Yeah.
You don't know at the spur of the moment. Somebody may say something to you and trigger you, and look what your mama did.
I mean, if you know yourself as a person, spur of the moment, if I have a heart and I still care for you, no matter what we going through, and I know that those things were detrimental to you, I would never speak certain things. I just wouldn't let it come out my mouth. I wouldn't.
So you've never been in an argument and said some hurtful things?
Yeah, I've said some hurtful things, but not hurtful things like what we just discussed, like past traumas and using that to be like, da-da-da. No, I wouldn't do that. That's going too far. Because everybody says angry things to each other when they're in the midst of an argument.
I think that we should do more vetting, more research on a person before we just completely give our all to it. You know what I mean? I mean, just like there's a 90-day probation, I think that there should be a probationary period for a relationship. I think that I need to test. I'm not saying literally test a person, but just see what the boundaries are. See, I say that because people don't understand the true meaning of love. Love isn't just, I just feel some emotional crap for somebody, and so I'm gonna deal with some stuff, or I'm gonna accept his baggage or her baggage. Love is simply an emotion that's backed by action. It's just that simple. I can sit here and talk a million ways of how I love you or why I love you, but if I'm not showing, if I'm not proving it, if I'm not physically doing, you know what I mean? If I'm not doing it, then it don't mean anything. So I can show someone I love them by improving my mental health by going to get therapy to fix my past trauma. Let me show this person that I'm willing to refreshen my whole vibe just to become a better man so that I can be a better person for my wife or my family or my girlfriend or whatever the case is. Nobody wants to invest their life into somebody else and there's no return on the investment.
Absolutely.
Nobody wants to waste time and energy on something that's going to end up being dead. So I get it.
I hear you. We really appreciate your perspective on all of this. And thank you again so much for coming on. We gotta talk, we have more talking to do about this subject matter is just it's very
We can't push it all in.
it's just we don't have enough time to do that. So we're gonna get together again with you so we can go into further detail. And once again, thank you so much for coming on here and explaining your perspective as a man. And Jaleesa, thank you again. You know, you're always welcome. Both of y'all are always welcome. We're going to close this out. Thank you all again so much for tuning in to another episode of Why Women Life. Don't forget to hit the subscribe button. If you like this video, give us a thumbs up. Don't forget to follow us on Instagram at Why Women Life, as well as TikTok at Why Women Life. Until next time, peace out, y'all.
Bye. But if you love someone and care for someone, it should be a point, a stopping point. Call for 6. You know, I am doing my podcast. Give me 10 minutes. 10 minutes.
And this is about to cut off.
I'm doing my podcast. Give me 10 minutes.
You gotta start over so we can
my podcast.
I gotta send another link, but we're gonna try to get close to wrapping it up though.